This is what we'll make at the end of this video. If we click on this lock, we can change the digits, and if we get the password right, the lock will be unlocked. So the password is 862. 862. And now you see the lock is unlocked and we can no longer interact with it. Hello and welcome to this YouTube channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a simple lock in Unity. First, I'm going to go through some theory and how we're going to build such a system, and then get to some coding. So if you want to jump to the coding part, use the timestamps shown on the screen. Here we have a chest and it's locked, interactable, and has a password. If all these statements are true, then if we click on this chest, it'll open an UI. In this UI, if we click on these buttons, we should be able to change the inserted password. So when we click on these numbers or characters, they should change to another number or character, like in real life lock. The password choices of any of these digits are arbitrary, meaning that we can choose whatever characters and numbers we want for these digits. For example, this first digit could be 123AURQ986. To illustrate the point, consider this slide. If the digit is 1 and we click on the button, it'll change to 2. If we click on it again, it'll change to 3. And if we click on it again, it'll change to A, and so on until the digit 6. If we click on it, then it'll change to 1, and the loop goes on. Each time that the inserted password is changed, we have to update the UI and check if the inserted password is correct or not. So at any point, if the inserted password is equal to the wanted password, the lock will be unlocked and it will no longer be interactable. Although you can change the unlock method as you want, and you can change the interactable boolean as you wish. Now the theory is done, and let's get to some coding. Welcome to the Unity encoding part. So here first we're going to make an empty game object. I'm going to call this lock, and then here I'm going to add a component called sprite renderer. Then I'm just going to drag my lock sprite here, which is a chest. Now let's get to coding. Right click here, create a C# script. Let's call it simple lock. Double click to open it. Now here I'm not going to use update method. I'm just going to remove this. Because of the fact that we're going to use UI, I'm just using Unity engine.ui. First, I'm going to define a few parameters. The first one will be public bool interactable equal to true, which means the object is interactable. The second thing is public game object lock canvas, which is the canvas of our lock, which could be enabled and disabled in order to be to interact with the lock. And the third thing is public an array of text. Public text. This text will display the digits. Now here, first I'm gonna define a public string password as the password of the lock, and the second thing is public string, an array of strings, lock character choices. I'm gonna show you what it means in a while, in a few moments. Then public int public int lock character number. I'm gonna explain all this, and then public string inserted password. Let's go back to Unity. So in your Unity, let's go to your lock and then drag this simple lock script here. Let's ignore these first three variables and let's focus on password, lock character choices, lock character number, these three. So password would be your desired password, which for me it's 862. And for lock character choices, this needs a little bit explanation. So for example, here this lock has 3 digits. So each of these digits could be different characters or numbers. So lock character choices, its array would be the size of 3 because the password is in length of 3. So in each of these elements you can determine which characters or numbers any of these digits could have. For example, A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are the characters and numbers that we can choose for the left digit. And for the middle one, I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And same for the last one. You could write any character or numbers that you want here. So you have lots of character choices, and this lock is flexible on this. Now in lock character number, we have to, as before, we have to set this as 3 because the password length is 3. Now to explain this, what all this means, let's make an example. So I'm just gonna write 3 here. Let's consider the first digit because I'm gonna explain on this one. Let's consider first digit. So the third index of this array would be 0, 1, 2, 3. So D is chosen. Now if I click on this digit, on this button, this will be increased by 1, and then the digit is changed to the next one, to the next character, which is E. Now if I click on the middle one, this 0 is changed to 1, and then the digit is changed from 1 to 2. Now if I change it to, for example, 5, which of these are selected? Let's see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The digit 6 is chosen. So that's how it works really in the code. So I just thought that it should be explained here so it wouldn't be really confusing. I'm gonna define a few functions. First, public void interact to interact with the lock, and public void stop interact to stop interacting with the lock. So when we interact with lock, we only want to make a canvas appear or disappear. So lock canvas dot set active is true. This set active method will set the given game object active or disactive based on the given boolean. So here we want to stop interacting, which means we want to deactivate it. So set active is false. Now we want to say when we click on the lock, it should be we should interact with it. So on mouse down, let's say interact. Let's make this one private. Let's say that log character number is equal to new int password dot length. Now let's define a few methods to check the password, change UI, and change the digits. So check. So let's say public void change password and give it number, which this number determines which of these digits we want to change. So let's say log character number is increased, and then check if it has not exceeded the index. So let's say log character number, if it's of index number, if it's greater or equal than log character number, that length, sorry, it should be log character choices index number dot length. So here basically we say that if the chosen character number or the index that we want to choose from log character choices is equal or more than the length of it, we should reset it back to 0. Is equal to 0. And after that we change, let's call it change inserted password. After that we change the inserted password, we should check for check password and also update UI. Let's make these two functions. Let's say check password and also public void update UI. Now, in the check password method, first I'm gonna define an integer called passlen, which is actually the password length. In this case, it would be 0, but it could be changed, so I'm just gonna define it here. And then I'm gonna set inserted password as an empty string. You're gonna say in a while. And then I'm gonna say for int I equal to 0, I less than pass length, and then I plus plus. So I'm just gonna loop through each of the log character choices, and I'm gonna pick the characters that are chosen. So here I'm just gonna say inserted password is plus equal log character choices. So in each of the digits, I'm gonna look for which of these characters are chosen. So let's say log character number I, and at the end I'm just gonna write toString method toString, because here it will give us a character, and inserted password is and a string, so we're just going to use toString here. And then after the inserted password is set, we are going to check if password is equal to inserted password. Then if it's true, let's unlock the lock. So let's also make a public void unlock now I'm just gonna, for a while, I'm just gonna use debug.log unlocked. Unlocked. Now let's update the UI. So as we said here, we have text that we have to update. So here we say int len is equal to text dot length, which is actually the length of the password. So for int I is equal to 0 and I less than length and I plus plus, let's say that each text is equal to the chosen character. So like character choices in each digit, let's say like character number I dot to string. So here it will, for each of the digits, it will pick a character and then convert it to a string, and the text would show this the string in our UI. You're gonna see it in a while. And I think it's done. Yeah, I think it's good. We just should, I think we have missed here if it's interactable. If it's interactable, let's say log canvas.setActive is true. Now let's go back to Unity. Here let's first create an empty object, call it UI, and then right click on it, go to UI, canvas. I'm just gonna call it simple lock canvas. Make sure that this event system is also created, because if it's not, then some of your UI elements may not work properly. So here I'm just gonna say scale with screen size and give my desired screen size. Now click on it, make a panel, click on the panel, and on keyboard click on F to zoom out, and I'm just gonna increase the opacity and change the background to my desired background, which is this UI. Now here we want to make a few buttons, 3 buttons for digits and then another button for stopping the interact. So now let's say create empty buttons. Let's make 4 buttons. Let's make the first one and then we can duplicate it. I'm just gonna scale it as I want. I'm gonna remove actually the component. Then I'm gonna click here, go to the text, change the color to white, change the font size to 70. I'm just gonna write whatever you want. Let's write 2. And then let's call it bold. And now we can duplicate it, but by Control D. I can move this here, and then another Control D, and then move it here. So the buttons for these digits are done. Now let's just make another button for stopping the interact. Let's remove the text and give it our desired sprite. I think it looks good right now. So let's give each of these, let's call it back button. Oh, let's now let's give each of these buttons their functions. So for the first one, for the left one, let's click on the button and then click this plus button here, then drag the lock game object here, go to simple lock, and then change inserted password. Now the given integer should be 0 here. For the next one, do the same thing. Now choose change inserted password, just only you have to change it to 1. And for the second one, you guessed it, you have to do the same. You have to go to simple lock, change inserted password, and here you should choose 2. And for the back button, let's drag the lock button here, go to simple lock and choose stop interact here. And I think it's done. The only thing I remember that I have to do is that first we have to disable the lock canvas and then go back to our script, and then in the start method let's update UI. Remember to write this down in the start method, because when we want to start the game, the UI should be updated first. Let's go back to Unity. Okay, so go back to your lock, and then here first let's give it a box collider 2D, and then in simple lock sprite let's fill all the necessary things. So lock canvas, let's give it the lock canvas. Text here should be the same length as password, so it would be 3. Now come here and give each of these texts to the proper position, so all of these should be in order. The password, give this your password, your desired password. Mine is 6862. And here lock character choices. The array size should be 3 because the password length is 3. And then I'm just going to give it the character choices that I want. And the character number is not important really. You could just say 000. Now if we started and we click on the lock, this UI will be enabled, and we can use this to go back. Now here if we click on these buttons, they will change. So the password was 862, I guess. Yeah, when it is 862 it will be unlocked. Okay, so now let's go back and make better unlocking for this. Now I'm just going to define a public sprite unlock sprite, public sprite unlock sprite, and unlock method, let's say first interactable is false, and then stop interact, and then game object dot get component sprite render dot sprite is equal to what did we call it? Unlock sprite. Unlock sprite. Yeah, I think I misspelled a lot. And I think that's good. Go back to Unity. Now go to lock section, and here on the unlock sprite, let's give it the unlock sprite. Now if you go back to the game and click on the lock, first I want to show you that it will be reset to, it will be a loop, so 1 to 9 and then to 1. So 8, 6, 0. The password is set and it is unlocked and we can no longer interact with it. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and if you have any problem, please tell me down in the comment section.